And before you even have a chance to use your little one ring, we have the Fiery Inscription, and we're going to inscribe all over your ring. And that's right, that's good game. Curtains, baby. Ladies and gentle mages, civilians across the multiverse, welcome back to another episode of Man, and today we've got a juicer for you. We've got the Ring Burn. I absolutely love the idea of this deck. It is not exactly like mono red, like burn, swing, tap, burn, fast. It's a little bit different. It takes a lot of, honestly, it takes a little bit of some pilot skills. Let's go ahead and get into it. Fiery Inscription, whenever it enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you, so you are going to want to play creatures still, but you also want to play a lot of instant or sorcery spells, because whenever you cast one, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. Now, that is every single time, as this is an enchantment, so how can we really make sure that we get this on the field? Perilous Iteration, so Expressive Iteration, Perilous Iteration, doesn't matter, the iteration are so good. Seek a card with mana value 2 or less, which you can grab a land, or you can just grab like a pump spell, which is kind of nice, but what you really want is you seek a card with mana value 3 or greater. Well, if you notice, this is the only card in our deck that's 3 or greater, so you're guaranteed to seek a Fiery Inscription. That is absolutely wonderful. So, I mean, again, how else are we going to get into this? We got the Questing Druid, which is, again, the Seek the Beast. I actually have 2 Wrenn's Resolve. It can get a little bit murky if you have too many Wrenn's Resolve, so I actually cut this down to 2 from 4. But either way, the Questing Druid is another way that we can get bigger. So these 2 cards are enough reason to go for Gruul rather than mono red. I think it's definitely better than the mono red version I kind of tried beforehand. But let's go in for the Vindictive Flamestoker. This is another reason why I am a huge fan of Alchemy. This single-handedly gives this deck like the gas it needs, because whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put an oil counter on it, and it does cost 7, but for each oil counter, you're going to be able to discard your hand, draw 4 cards. Later in the game, this is so wonderful to just draw into some extra stuff. You usually have a Fiery Inscription out anyway, and I'm telling you, if you get this out on turn 1, it pays dividends pretty much every single time. And plus, we are playing like Ranger's Firebrand. The ring is going to tempt us with some stuff, so we do need creatures. Obviously, the Swiftspear is pretty good. The Monstrous Rage, I'm only running 3 of, not 4 of, and I'm honestly thinking I would lean towards 2 than 4 if I had to choose, because the Monstrous Rage, again, this is not exactly like mono red like in standard. It plays very, very differently, but as soon as you get like a Questing Druid, this thing does get pretty big eventually, and then you can just use the Monstrous Rage, and you can use it for damage, obviously, but don't fall into the trap of the Monstrous Rage. That is typically the last plan B or C. Plan A is just going to be able to go for Wrenn's Resolve, dig deeper into your deck, Fiery Inscription, burn them, just burn after combo after combo. This is the deck. Go and leave me a like. The button looks just like this. Helps out the channel tremendously. Consider joining the channel. That would help me out as a content creator, and I greatly appreciate it. Consider subscribing if you have not already. And without further ado, let's get ready to vanquish some enemies. Zetamore, how we doing here? I'm gonna go ahead and keep this. I say double Fiery Inscription. I'm gonna keep it. The Fiery Inscription is basically just the engine that makes the deck go. So Zetamore, number 259, pretty impressive rank there. Let's see if we can knock it down a notch. So obviously, we're just gonna go for the Vindictive Flamestoker. I am actually just so stoked, pun very intended, that we have a home for the Vindictive Flamestoker, because this thing, like, I liked it, but it just really needed a home, and this is like just one of those. That's kind of why, another reason why I like Alchemy so much, is because you can genuinely find homes for cards that otherwise were like not very good in standard. So this is like the perfect deck, because you can try and use this in standard, but it just does not compare. All right, so the Juggernaut Peddler comes out. I'm sure they're going to take one of our inscriptions away, as they probably know that it is our best card, and it's the most expensive thing, so we're going to get a stupid Juggernaut in place of this, which is just pretty brutal. Yeah, a little Juggernaut, so, yeah, that Juggernaut's going to be kind of slow, but, I mean, maybe we can use it to bash their skull in. Who knows? I'm going to go ahead and swing in here. They do see the Monstrous Rage, so I would assume that they don't block here, but, oh, okay, why? Okay, I mean, this is pretty easily. I'm really confused. I mean, is there something that seems like a colossal just like misplay? So like, I'm not really. I mean, they're up to 259. They have to kind of know what's going on. So it's a little confusing there. But okay, maybe I'm the fish. I don't know. We'll see. Virtue of Persistence, yeah, it is what it is. Can't get out of that, unfortunately. So our Vindictive Flamestoker is going to go away. Do got a Questing Druid now. So I think we're just going to call out green and then just go for the Fiery Inscription. These type of decks I know run that like a little picky card, so they do have a lot of hate. White has a lot of enchantment hate, unfortunately, but as long as we get our Fire Inscription online, if we don't get rid of it, we're just gonna burn their face to death. I mean, it gets crazy quickly. All right, Demolition Field. Why? I'm thinking that they probably don't think that we're running Forest, because otherwise I'm not really sure why they would do this now. Because, like, okay, I would just go for a Forest. I could go for Red here with the Shock, but I don't know if I want to commit to... I don't know if I want to commit to that. Yeah, we could go for the Shock, but again, with the Shock, this isn't really like a Red deck wins type of deck. So we could have went for like a Mountain there, but I don't know. I guess we're okay with this. So Questing Beast goes off, and again, the Vindictive Flamestoker eventually is going to be able to get a brand new hand. But before we do that, let's go ahead and drop the Forest, because we did drop the Druid here. And now let's go for Swiftspear, attack on in. I think we're just making pace just fine. Hopefully we can, like, tempt ourselves up enough to where we can, like, draw a card, discard a card to get rid of this Juggernaut, because it's just kind of sitting here kind of awkwardly. I'm not really wanting to spend 4 mana on this thing either, especially if they're going to be able to block it. So now we're kind of put in a weird position here. Do we want to go for the Questing Druid and invest into the Druid? The One Ring. Okay, so the One Ring obviously is not great for us, but it's really not the end of the world either. So get, oh, okay, another Inscription. Now that is great. That is phenomenal. So let's go ahead. Yeah, I mean, well, I guess we might as well drop the Crossroads here and go for the Druid just so that we get the +1/+1 counter on it, as that is permanent rather than the Swiftspear's prowess. Go for the Fire Inscription, and now we get all of our counters, we get all of our stuff here. This is really nerve-wracking. Obviously, they could have a Sunfall. I would really hate a Sunfall or a Sweeper of any sort, but I think it's still going to be worth it here. We still have our Fiery Inscription, so even if we do, it's not that big of a deal. I'm still going to with the Swiftspear. Even though they do have protection, this is not going to do any damage, but we are tempted by the ring, so we do get the ring here, and we do that. Let's get rid of this Juggernaut, and the Perilous Iteration is one of the best cards in the deck. It's the second best card in the deck alongside Inscription, because it does just grab you an Inscription for free every single turn. So if we can have 3 Inscriptions on the battlefield, that will be pretty mighty. So even if we do get swept, I think we're still looking okay here. The One Ring, I mean, what's like the next worst thing? Juggernaut Peddler, oh my gosh, brutal. Brutal. So they get rid of the Perilous Iteration, and we get this Juggernaut. This thing, I do not like the Juggernaut. Yucky. There are some times where like the Juggernaut actually isn't like that bad, but right now it's really annoying. Ugh. It's just big, clunky, ugly, ew. So the One Ring does actually put off a little bit of damage to them, which is kind of nice. Eventually, this Vindictive Flamestoker is going to be able to go off, and I think we'll be, let's see, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Copperline Gorge is, ugh, a little awkward here. A little awkward here, but we can still go for Shock and the Vindictive Flamestoker, and we still get to swing in with the Swiftspear, so... Let's swing in with the Swiftspear first, because we are tempted by the ring. We are the ring bearer, so they won't be able to block the Swiftspear, and we get a draw and discard kind of thing going on. Go for the throw, and this is actually fine. We do have to tap out if we want to go for the Flamestoker, but that's okay. I think we're going to at least swing in with the Druid, and then we can always just shock their face. They block again. I guess this one's a little bit less worse than the Monstrous Rage one, but now here we go. Here's where the fun is really starting to begin. So we do 6 damage to their face, hit them for 2, and now the Flamestoker, we can just discard ourselves and then just draw. Let's go ahead and drop the Gorge, just because we might as well play this down before we do that. And we actually don't have to do that at sorcery speed. For some reason, again, because I don't play this a lot in Standard, I just assume the card's worse than it is. We don't have to play it at sorcery speed. Shelly. Let's do this. Before we take the life from drawing, let's go for the Flamestoker. We're going to draw 4 cards, because otherwise we would just be taking, what, 8 damage? I don't want to do that. It kind of sucks, though. Shelly with the One Ring, I mean, come on. Very, very, very good. Soul Partition. Okay, so Soul Partition is better than just getting it removed. I mean, we can always bring it back. Yes, they do get a whopping 6 life. That's not that bad. We can actually burn through that. It's not impossible or beyond the pale to actually burn through this. So, man, there's a lot to think about right now. So, okay, there's a lot to think about. We have the Perilous Iteration, which gives us another Fiery Inscription. for essentially 3. We could go for Questing Druid, invest some sort of thing into a Questing Druid. I think the Druid itself is a little bit too slow right now, just because they can have a sweeper. They've got all the mana in the world. They got all the card draw in the world. So let's give them a thinking here. Let's scratch our head. Let's scratch the back of our neck. If I go for Fiery Inscription, if I go for Perilous Iteration, we can get a Fiery Inscription for free. But if we just do this, let's do this. Make Questing Druid legendary. And now they can't block the Druid, so it's at least 4 damage coming in. And the Forest is a little bit awkward here. So I think we might have maybe screwed up a little bit there already. So if we drop the Forest, we kind of are pigeonholed into the Questing Druid. But I think I'm okay with that. That's really not that big of a deal. They can't block. We drop a Mountain. That's fine. At this point, the Mountain is a little bit of a moot point. Let's get rid of the Mountain. We don't really care that much. We lose 2 life. Don't really care. We're dealing 4 to their face. And, well, they're going to block. Okay. That means they probably have another Shelly, because they obviously have to assume that we have this, but let's go for the Questing Druid here. I know it's not as good. I want to keep the Melt Through to hit their face, maybe like kind of when they're not expecting it. Obviously, a little sloppy here. I'm not gonna lie. We definitely slopped that up a little bit with the Druid there. I think what really set us off was that Forest. The Forest was a little yucky. Should have dropped the Forest, and then we would have had the oh god. We would have had the red sources, and another Shelly is brutal. Yeah, because that just tells me they have another Shelly, and they have the One Ring. Oh, grindy. I'm still not that worried, though. I mean, they go up to 16, which seemingly is bad, but we do still have 2 Fiery Inscriptions here. Okay. As long, okay, Peddler, okay. I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that they don't go for the Perilous Iteration. They probably will. They might just go for the Melt Through, though. They might just be more intimidated by the burn to their face. They don't, unfortunately. Okay, let's see how we can get through here. Let's go for the Swiftspear. Oh, another Perilous Iteration. This card is absolute gas. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. So if we go for the Questing Druid, let me kind of map out what I want to play here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I go for Swiftspear, I wish there's a way we could inscribe our Swiftspear. I think we're just going to go for the Iteration, because that means we'll be able to grab the Fiery Inscription, number 3, still deal 4 damage, and we get a land, which is actually really, really nice. That is kind of the nice thing about it. You get to seek a land. So let's go for Fiery. Let's go for Swiftspear first. Maybe we should, yeah, so Swiftspear. But I also, in my defense, I didn't know that we were going to seek a land card, and an untapped land at that, so, okay. We could have went for Swiftspear that. That would have been a little bit too risky. Let's go for the Fiery Inscription, and I think we just won. Did we just win? So that does 6. The Melt Through does 2. I think we just won. So, Melt Through. They can't block. I guess I could have swung in first, but even did another Melt Through, and we just find that's what I'm saying. With the Fiery Inscription, this deck just finds a way to win, and they just lose it with the Ring Bear, and we still had a Melt Through too. Woo! Minorati, how you doing here? Minoroti, how you doing? All right, so you know the drill. You know the drill. We got a Flamestoker, we got an Iteration. We are iterating how good the Iteration is, and I don't care. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it. So let's see what we're going against. They got Rakdos sleeves, but, you know, it could be a bluff. I personally don't bluff my sleeves, especially making content, but I typically don't either. Unless I'm playing, like, the Arena Open, which I really haven't even played yet. Like, I just don't think it really matters that much. I'm perfectly okay with just showing you what I got. Plus, it's just for a content sake. It just matches the flavor. I'm all about the flavor. So let's go ahead and get our Fiery Inscription, and don't really care about anything else. I guess we got this little Forest card, which is kind of nice. So again, remember what I said about this card? I think it's pretty good to see this versus our kind of deck, because we're gonna blow them out of the water. It's a good card. Don't get me wrong. The Ornthonk, whatever the frick you call it, it's really good card. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, let's just go for you and just go for the Fiery Inscription. Looks good. Flamestoker's gonna do its thing. Not really ready to do that yet, but it is gonna become legendary, and it is a legendary card. The Iteration gets rid of our Swifts here. We don't care. We got our Inscription, and that's all we care about. Oh. Well, I guess, like, because again, this is why The tempting is so good. We're gonna go and lose life. We lose down to not 14. Not that big of a deal. And this is why the Flamestoker is so good. Or this is why the ring is so good in our deck. We don't really care about this. Might as well be a 5/5 with Champa. We don't really care. We're not going to deal any damage to the Obliterator, so I don't really care about that. So I'm just kind of thinking I want to go for Iteration. We're definitely going to go for Monstrous Rage after we attack. Let's get the land. Oh, man, the forest. These forests have been killers, man. Because I want to drop the forest because that's what we seeked. Saw it. Dang, that forest is awkward. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. We're just going to discard it. Not that big of a deal. But we can't really make use of it either, so let's go for the Firebrand, and that's okay. Yep, more damage. Looks good. Hit you, bomb, boom. And let's swing on in. Draw a card. Thran Portal. Let's get rid of this forest just because it's kind of awkward. And let's go next to blockers. They can't block. Oh, no, hold on. Oh, that was almost close. If we would have went for Monstrous Rage beforehand, and they would have been able to block us if we would have, we were so good. I can't do math. Don't bother me. Math's for blockers, right? Okay. Even if we die, oh, the One Ring. This is actually not that big of a deal. I think we're still gonna win here because the One Ring grants you protection on your turn. It has absolutely nothing to do with the beginning of your upkeep, so I actually don't care about this at all. We're gonna go ahead and give you the card. You're tapped out. I don't care if you draw into an answer. We're not even gonna let you have it. We're not gonna let you have it. Opponent draws card. Don't care. And another melt through. Look at that. Let's go for the look at that. That's great. Let's go for the Fiery Inscription. Don't think it really even matters. I think we're gonna put a stop on their upkeep. So we've got two. Okay, listen. You have the One Ring, but we have two Fiery Inscriptions, and I think our ring power is a little bit stronger than yours. So let's go for the ring here. Get rid of you. We got some shocks. We got some power. Yeah, like I said, you got the One Ring. You've got the One Ring, but guess what we have? We have Fiery Inscription. I put a stop at your turn. The One Ring only gives you protection on your turn. It does not give you protection here. And before you even have a chance to use your little One Ring, we have the Fiery Inscription, and we're going to inscribe all over your ring. And that's right. That's good game. Curtains, baby. Nicola Balas. How you doing here? Okay. I got a Vindictive Flamestoker. I typically... Oh, that's a mulligan. We'll go ahead and give them the friendly mulligan. Hello. Everybody needs a friend when you take a mulligan. So let's go ahead and just see what they want to do here. You know what? If they're... Well, hold on. If they're going to not play, if they're going to rope me before the game's even started, I don't even know if I'm going to give them the friendly mulligan hello. Okay. I'm not... You know what? I'm not giving them the friendly mulligan hello. They took way too long. We don't want to be friendly. Let's go. Alright, Flamestoker, here we go. Getting them going. I mean, we do have a Fiery Inscription already in our hand, but I mean, I think the deck just wants as many Fiery Inscriptions as humanly possible. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and do it. And then hopefully we can seek out a land. That would be really, really nice. We do not, unfortunately, so we're going to lose out on the Swiftspear. But as long as we can dig for the best card in our deck, that is what I love, man. It's so good. Because obviously, Fiery Inscription is the only 3-drop in our deck. So we just get it. And that's like, oh my god, another one. And that's just how... Well, this sucks, because we can't play anything, so we didn't get into our land drop at all. We didn't draw into a land, but that's okay. It is what it is. You can't be perfect every single time. Let's see if we can wrestle through some adversity. Alright, so, again, though, I don't really just want to go for straight in for damage. I think I am okay with going for Flamestoker. It is... God, losing that inscription does feel pretty bad. But... I don't really... I think it's more important to get the Flamestoker out. Obviously, they could have, you know, a sweeper, and I feel pretty dumb for overextending into the Flamestoker. But from my experience, a lot of these decks, they play creatures. Like, a lot of these Orzhov, Abzan decks, they play a lot of creatures, and I don't know. I think the unless it's, like, Esper Control, I typically don't care. I'll overextend. I don't really care. We'll roll the dice. They might be tempted to take... Wow, they take Monstrous Rage instead of the Inscription. Okay, so at least we have a Questing Druid here. Hopefully, fingers crossed that we can get into some land here, because otherwise, this is going to get sweaty pretty quickly. Okay, so we got the Forsaken Crossroads, and that would have been bad. I don't even know if we would have been able to, but let's make use of this. We only get this for this turn. Questing Druid is only this turn. It does not carry over into next turn. So let's go ahead and make our... For the Ring Bearer, I guess we'll make it the Swiftspear. I think Swiftspear is not going to get sacrificed like the Flamestokers do. So that's that. Still got the Juggernaut. So we're 2 turns behind playing a Fiery Inscription than optimal. And we're still looking okay, though. This Juggernaut Peddler, man, it's everywhere. But it's a really good card. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of like a discard on wheels, but it kind of isn't, because it gives you the card back, but it kind of is good, so I don't know how I feel about it. Alright, Fiery Inscription, this is what we do. And I think we're going to go ahead and just put it on you. The one that has lower amount, because the one with higher amount, I'm going to be wanting to do that. Yeah, looks good. The one with 4 counters is going to be more likely to be, you know, sacrifice for the card draw, so. So now we have to be a little wary of a sweeper. Oh, Legion to Ashes. That's going to kill our inscription. That's not good. But again, though, even if they do sweep the board, we still have like Wrenn's Resolve, Questing Druid. Like, we can refuel. We can refuel from that, so it's not that big of a deal. I do like Wrenn's Resolve. I'm actually only running 2 Wrenn's Resolve and then 4 Questing Druid, because I think that it gets a little too much if you have 4 Wrenn's Resolve. It's a little too much. So let's go for Fire Inscription. We will be able to, unless they kill us, we will be able to draw a card, discard a card, which might fix something up here, but I kind of like my hand, honestly, so we'll see. So they are thinking, ooh, Tear Asunder. Well, I mean, yeah, whatever. I don't think it really matters too much here. I guess we can kind of, well, Melther can hit creatures, so let's go for Shock instead. And I know it's kind of the same difference, really. Tear Asunder's going to get rid of that. We also get another Fiery Inscription, so whatever. Alright, another Ranger's Firebrand. I mean, we do get the... I guess we'll get rid of you. I do like tempting ourselves, because if we get the 4th... I mean, you can't really see just because of my placement. It's like right there. Right there, I swear. Sunfall, so again, here we go. So here, I was just kind of gloating about the deck. Now we're going to see. We're going to put it to the test. I think we're going to go for Questing Druid. I'm going to go for Wrenn's Resolve just because we didn't drop our land drop for the turn. Forest. We're going to lose out on this Druid. Yeah. Probably going to lose out on... Well, actually, no, because the Druid is this turn, Wrenn's Resolve is next turn. So I was just talking about... It's not strictly better. Despite it being a sorcery and not being able to be a creature, that is the one thing it has over it. You do have it until next turn. But even if we didn't, it's still fine. I think we're just going to shock in here. Alright, so they are pretty much out of resources. We kind of know what they're dealing with here. Obviously, the Incubator token is a little bit gross. Do I want to just shock the Lifelinker? I think I do. That way I can swing in with the Druid. A little bit more clean. Kind of sucks that the Ranger's Firebrand is a sorcery, though. So I really want to be mana efficient here. We're going to swing in with Elspeth. Or to Elspeth, not with Elspeth. Don't know how that would happen. Let's go for Seek the Beast. Seek further into our deck. And again, with the Questing Druid, this is until your next end step. So we don't have the luxury of Wrenn's Resolve type of stuff. So always have to be, it is kind of hard, especially to pilot, because you have to remember Questing Druid is there forever. Then the Questing Druid exiles until this turn. Perilous Iteration goes away, even though it is highlighted. And then Wrenn's Resolve is until the end of next turn. So there is a lot to juggle with this deck, but you get used to it. I think I played like 2 matches before I just took this thing live. But we're ready for it, baby. We're ready for it. Let's go for Perilous Iteration. I know for a fact this is the best move. It's just trying to get into your Fiery Inscriptions as much as possible. And we do seek a land card, so that's kind of nice. But we could just go for Wrenn's Resolve. I kind of like that. Sure. Like I said, they are kind of at our mercy right now. We're just going to get this Questing Druid to the high heavens, and we're sending anything but heaven towards your way. So, yeah, let's look at a Monstrous Rage. Let's swing in here. They're obviously going to animate this little token. Okay. We got to be careful, though. The Archangel Elspeth is kind of a threat. I mean, if they go for the -6, that is not great. Still have the Fire Inscription for next turn. I think we're looking pretty good. What's the move here? They make a Lifelinker, and they're going to make a little piggy.
Ready arms!
I think they make a little pig with the little... whatchamacallit. And then what they can do with, like, I forget which pig it is. Which one? Oh, ooh, Wrenn. Oh, that is pretty yucky. Okay, they're going to be able to get a Vigilance. Restless Cottage, and they're gonna get a food token as well. That is pretty gross. Yeah. Okay, that's a little bit of a damper in our day, but
Fight back.
no, I still think we're okay. I still think we're okay. I mean, with the Monstrous Rage, I'm only running 3 Monstrous Rage. 4 is a little bit, Honestly, even you could probably even go 2, because even 3, like, this is, again, this is a very, very different type of deck than, like, red deck wins and standard and stuff like that. So, another burn spell, definitely love that. Let's go ahead and drop our mountain from the exile pile so we don't lose out on it. But with this Monstrous Rage, I think we're going to be good to go. Let's go for Fiery Inscription. And here's the thing with the Fiery Inscription. With the Questing Druid, whenever we deal combat damage, we are now up to stage 4 on the ring. So our power, we're totally powered up. We have the Fiery Inscription. We've got the full-blown ring, every step of the ring. We've got Questing Druid up to the high heavens. We're going to have this Monstrous Rage. And with our legendary Questing Druid, we're going to trample through with the Monstrous Rage and then deal an extra 3 because we have that. That was a mouthful. Wow. Okay. Food token, we still got the Monstrous Rage, does not really matter, down to 2. And we're actually doing, like, how much damage are we actually doing here? Draw a card, discard a card, cool, whatever. Still got a Monstrous Rage, ba-bing, ba-boom, and that's going to be it. Even if we didn't have the Inscription, we still are dealing, like, 15? Elks fan, well, let's see how you doing here, Elks fan. I don't know what, you a fan of Oko? Well, let's go and drop our Vindictive Flamestoker. Stoked to see this card. Pun very intended. Pun very intended. So we got the Perilous. I mean, this is pretty good. We got, as long as you have a turn 1 creature and you got a Perilous Iteration, I mean, you're pretty much golden. So we got the Swamp Cycling, the little troll of, I can't even pronounce that, so I'm not going to pretend like I can. Swamp Cycling, these little cycling cards are pretty good though. I noticed that, and they're even making like waves in other formats and like historic and stuff like that, which is very impressive. So let's go for the forest here. Yeah, let's just go for the iteration. Let's reiterate, like, yeah, every single like iteration is pretty much like the best card ever. I kind of noticed that. You have an expressive iteration, you have the perilous iteration. I think they just make sure if it prints iteration, it's like the best card ever. Call of the Ring, decent little card. But you know what we're doing here. Let's go for the Fiery Inscription, and now it's just going to get nasty. I think just going Fiery Inscription on turn 3, I think we're going to see like the absolute maximum that we can play with this. Because again, with the cards like Wrenn's Resolve, Shock, Firebrand, Tempt, oh, it's going to get nasty. Here's a little orb here. I actually think this is way too slow. I am not threatened by this whatsoever. They are not even going to be coming close to us in a race, so that's not even slightly a big deal. Let's go ahead and have them scry. I'm just going to lose the life no matter what. Don't care. Don't care what you put on top. 2 top, don't care. Lose life. Boom. Lose 3 life, whatever. Don't care. So Monastery Swiftspear, I think with the Forsaken Crossroads, we can either go for Wrenn's Resolve or we can just go for the Crossroads. I think this might be even a little bit more efficient. So let's go for this and see if we can dig into a land. Before I do my land drop, you always want to wait, obviously. There is Copperline Gorge. Ew. Yeah, let's just go for the mountain. And the Firebrand, do we want to use Shock? Well, yeah, let's use the Shock. There is an off chance, I mean, with all that damage here, down to 8 already, there is a chance that I go for like the Firebrand and maybe want to switch it over to the Swiftspear, because with the Flamestoker, I'm going to want... Oh, well actually that's not even that big of a deal. Okay, so with the Firebrand, I can either just do 2 damage to your face, Inscription does 2. Yeah, we're losing life, who cares? Excuse me. Oh, Wrenn's Resolve, and that's just going to take away all worries. There's no worries here. Let's do this first. Yeah, I'll go for Wrenn's Resolve. I might want to keep the green, just in case. Don't think it's really that big of a deal. If we go for Wrenn's Resolve, I'm not too worried. They're tapped out. And the Swiftspear, Perilous Iteration, and a Shock, and this game's over. This game's absolutely over. Let's just go for Ranger's Firebrand. We can even switch it over to the Swiftspear. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, sure. And we even have a Shock on the back end. I mean, this game's over. They know it. Good game. Giordano, and I know I've played you before, Giordano, because your name reminds me of that pizza place. Isn't Giordano's like a pizza place? That's how I know I have played you before. But hello, welcome to the show. Let's go for Vindictive Flamestoker. Flamestoker, nice little turn 1 drop. It's been here quite a... Hello, maybe they recognize us. Let's go ahead and give them a hello. That's not even the mulligan hello. That's just a friendly Tameo hello, hello. So, okay, so here's the thing. Kind of weird here. I always want to go for Fiery or Perilous Iteration. I think this may be the one case where I don't want to, because I actually don't have a third land because this Captivating Crossroads. First off, let's swing in. I don't have a Monstrous Rage, but maybe they don't know that. They might not know that. Might let the, okay, free damage is good damage. They could have just bounced, but I don't blame them. But here's the thing, yeah, with the Perilous Iteration, we don't have a land, so I'm just gonna go for Questing Druid instead because we already have a Fiery Inscription, so we don't even have to worry about it. We're gonna get a Fiery Inscription on turn 3. Except most of the, like 99% of the time, I usually go for Iteration just to get that Fiery Inscription, but we couldn't cast it next turn anyway. So Petrify. Okay, yeah, I mean, nothing else I can really do about that. Kind of just, might as well be dead. Okay. Let's go for the Questing Druid, see if we can get some sort of untapped land so that we can get our Fiery Inscription. Oh my gosh, no way! No way, more Captivating Crossroads? Oh my gosh, I do like the card a lot. It's still a good card and everything, but yeah, that is the extreme downside. So let's go ahead and do this. Just play down you, go for red. I mean, we might as well just take the slow and steady approach here. A lot of these games I've not been able to get into Fiery Inscription on turn 3, but that's okay. Another Petrify, so Questing Druid. These things are just kind of on the rocks right now. They can't really do anything. I am not running, like, I don't think there's any way I'm going to be able to set them free anytime soon. But what we can do is go for a Vindictive Flamestoker and a Fiery Inscription. So we finally get the Fiery Inscription down. And if we're just staring at this little 1/2 flying vigilance thingy, I mean, like, are we really that worried? Not really. Alright, let's see what else you got, Giordano. Kind of hungry now. Even if they kill the Flamestoker or they do it for the third Petrify, who cares? We have the Questing Druid, we got the Perilous Iteration. Not that worried, not that worried. I'm feeling pretty optimistic about this match. Hero's Heirloom. Okay, what does this thing do? Equip the creature gets +2/+1, and if it's legendary, trample and haste. But this thing's not legendary, is it? No, it's not legendary. 15 to 19, it does have vigilance, which is not wonderful, but like not that big of a deal. And now Captivating Crossroads is free from the shackles that be. We get a lot of the Questing Druid, double Flamestoker. The only one that's relevant is this Flamestoker, just because it's the only one that is not shackled by Petrify. But nevertheless, we still get the Fiery Inscription. We can't be blocked either, so that's really nice. A lot of decks, it feels like the Ring Bear kind of stuff is like very, very underwhelming in like a lot of decks, but not this one. It is extremely relevant. I love it in this deck. Especially because we have the 1/2, and then we also have the Swiftspear, which attacks in as a 1-power creature, and it's just wonderful. Okay. Again, though, as long as you have 2 Fiery Inscriptions out, I mean, we're gonna just mow right through them. We got the Questing Druid, we got Melt Through. I mean, Bunnicorn is not that big of a deal. Siege Veteran. Why Siege Veteran? Hold on, Siege Veteran. Is that a soldier? Oh, that's not a soldier. That just seems like a weird fit. Siege Veteran for +1/+1 counters, I guess, but that doesn't really help the Bunnicorn. Doesn't really help you because you're not a soldier. Maybe there's something else going on there. Okay, let's do this. I guess we'll just go for Questing Druid, burn them for 4 damage, which feels absolutely amazing. They can't block the Flamestoker either. So hopefully we can... okay, I was going to say, hopefully we could inscribe or get tempted one more time, because that way we do damage, we do 3 more. That would have been pretty nice, but I think we're gonna take this. So if I swing in here, draw a card, discard a card, we have a shock. Let's get rid of this other Flamestoker. And I think we win, right? Monstrous Rage, that is 4 damage from the inscriptions, and this is over. Yeah, we actually have something even to spare too. So shock. I mean, this deck is crazy. This deck is absolutely wild. Yeah, we still got the shock. Well, that's like more than... They give us a nice... Thank you, Giordano. You have been a good sport. Thank you so much. But Fire Inscription, this deck is gas, man.